founded a company called E.E. Shaw Associates, which have the reputation for being harder to get a job there than to get at Columbia or Harvard or currently Google. And he built this into, I think it was the 5th largest hedge fund in the world with the holdings of $30 or $40 billion. Then he said, I'm stepping down from that and going back into basic research up at the medical center. And he's interested in molecular dynamics. And he's built a special purpose computer called Anton to solve these problems 2 orders of magnitude faster than a general purpose computer. And there are about 11 of these Anton supercomputers around. I know IBM actually has them because his building, there's a building he owns down in the 30s or 40s, and it doesn't have enough electricity for these Anton supercomputers, so I think they're housed at IBM. But one of his goals is to tackle protein dynamics in general, but in particular protein folding. But what's almost unique about David is he's the only head of a huge multi-billion-dollar company who's gone back to basic research. It would be if Bill Gates went back to doing basic research. I think
he went back to doing it.
Well, because David Shaw left it.
Yeah, but Bill Gates never left it. He never did basic research.
He never did, okay. But I can't think of another head of a big company
yes, who would go
that went back to basic research.
Should we try and tackle the Wall Street problem again for a moment? Let's see where we can take that. Can you restate it for us?
Sure. Well, you mentioned Monte Carlo, and I know in like 1994 you worked on Project Monte Carlo. And when you originally kind of like proposed this, there was like a lot of backlash, and people were skeptical, but then eventually like everyone accepted it. So I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about that, and maybe use that to talk about the relationship between the Wall Street and real researchers who are kind of understanding these problems perhaps at a like better level than they do, and what you kind of see is like the ideal relationship between Wall Street and academic research.
That's a lot of questions. The real relation is Wall Street sends money to academic researchers. That's easy. Here's the story of that. That was an accidental discovery, which I sometimes say, well, it's sort of like the discovery of penicillin, which, as you know, is an accident, but this is much more important. So, really accidental discovery. I had a student named Spasomir Paskov, who had never left Bulgaria until he came to the United States. And he was a very strong theoretician, and I like rounded students who know hardware, software, theory, everything. For one thing, that's good, and secondly, you never know where the jobs are going to be when they come out. So Pascal was very strong in theory, but didn't know hardware and software. So I said, why don't you solve the following problem? We had a bunch of computers, small computers, solve this problem on a farm of computer farm that was in the department. So you had to use software, hardware, and the problem I gave him was the following. By luck, I won't go into the details of how I got hold of a real-world CMO from Goldman Sachs. CMO means collateralized mortgage obligation. It's an example of a financial derivative. Derivative has nothing to do with mathematical derivative. It is an instrument whose value is derived from certain underlying assets. You can argue this is really bad, derivatives, shame on you, or it's good. I think